What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 27 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Drazhoath the Ashen Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, Drazhoath defeated the Cult of Morgrim, acquiring the third relic, or the sixth, depending on how you look at it. Basically, two remain, and then the final battle of the campaign will be unlocked. We're nearly there, just have to actually travel to the relic of Grunny, which is in the mountains here. Fair distance away, so we'll have to get probably Drazh himself up there, as nobody else is really all that close. I suppose the elite infantry army is actually kind of near there, and certainly much closer. I'll think about it. They haven't had as much playtime as Drazh has, admittedly, but would their army be able to defeat that quest battle? Remains to be seen. Certainly, we'll fight the final battle with Drazh. I'll think about it, since these guys are closer. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this particular turn, there is nothing. We gotta end the turn. The only reason we didn't at the end of last episode was because Kurvdamatash and his slayers, his Zealot Berserkers, are besieging the Cursed Mount here, and there's about a 95% chance that these guys will sally out. They've got, a stack and a half, and this army is generally thought of as weak by the auto-resolve. So let's end the turn. I'm gonna skip all the building and all that stuff. It doesn't really matter anymore, and we'll end the turn and we'll see. Alright, there we go. As expected, they do indeed sally out, and I do notice that they have a lot of range units, fire units, a lot of gun units as well. Thunderers with Grudge Rakers, Drake guns, and regular Thunderers. Ah man, last time I played regular Dwarfs, they didn't have the Drake guns in SFO. Think of all of the fire compositions that you can make with the flamethrowers and Drake guns combined. Starting to make me want to play regular Dwarfs again, but anyway, I will hold off for now, and just for now though. Anyway, Kurvdamatash, let's see if your slayers can slay the non-slayer-tastic enemy army, with the one exception of these Grudge Settler slayers. Wonder if we can get a duel going between them and one of our Zealot Berserkers, although they do outstats us fairly considerably. Let's see if that works in practice. Go. Alright, here we go. Dwarfs versus Dwarfs once again, and this should be pretty interesting, as this army has a sort of nicely balanced bit of element to it. And that's a pretty nice mohawk on the Demon Slayer. I was just about to say, the OG Dwarfs don't have the power of hats on their side, but they do have the mohawks, at the very least. Look what they need to, what was it, mimic a fraction of our power, whatever. Anyway, anyway, we're going to start the battle off by charging in with the Bull Centaur Renders. They will take a fair few Thunderers with Grudge Rakers, blunderbuss-like shots to the face, but the barrier will protect them. They will still be a little bit damaged, but not so much that they are concerned. Looks like, what the heck? Oh, is that the enemy? That's the enemy Iron Drake's Grudge Settlers as well. And our Bull Centaurs have arrived way ahead of the rest of the army, but that's fine. We're going to start off with a nice little duel against an enemy Thane here, though I'd wager that our Bull Centaur Torok should be able to obliterate them without too much trouble. But it'll be a nice duel while the Bull Centaur Renders tear through the enemy's left flank and destroy any range units that they can get to. Oh, and it looks like the Demon Slayer has arrived to help out against the enemy Thane. Do certainly have to be wary of it, but we do have two Bull Centaur Toroks here to deal, should it be necessary. Over on the right flank, we have separated two of our units of Goblin Laborers, both of which we're going to send to annoy this pile of enemy Hammerers. The Hammerers will, of course, cut through droves of them, or bonk through droves of them, and will probably not lose a single unit. And in fact, look at the damage. 34 kills there, taking essentially no damage, but that's just fine. The Zealot Berserkers will simply move around them and head towards the Thunderers in the back. Same thing is being done on the front lines, where Slayers, Grudge Settlers, are being mobbed with 3 or 4 units of the Goblin Laborers. And we'll send in a few of our Zealot Berserkers to join the fray as well, as the two face off. Twin Axe versus Twin Axe, and we'll see who can outlast whom. Though we have the droves of gobos and they don't, the enemy will be tiring themselves out, attacking them for absolute ages. Anyway, that's probably going to take a while over on the left flank. While said enemy left flank is pretty much collapsed, the Bull Centaur renders obliterated the Thunderers as they charged through the enemy melee directly into them, and now the melee and range alike are being cut apart by the Zealot Berserkers. Especially against regular units like Dwarf Warriors, we should have a pretty major advantage here. 67 armor piercing, or armor centering rather, melee damage on the Berserkers, and the damage will climb as they spend more time in melee. So it'll get up there. Otherwise, the balance of power has shifted to about 60, maybe 65% in our favor. The hammer is still being distracted and are sending those goblin laborers packing, but the unit of thunderers they were protecting has gotten obliterated by the berserkers, and the quarrelers behind them is next. A unit of artillery will drop a Gehenna's golden hounds upon it so that we don't have to deal with it. I believe the enemy Thane has been defeated by the Bull Centaur Toryx, and I'm almost sure that the enemy Demon Slayer might have gotten killed by the Toryx as well, as I don't see either one of the enemy lords or heroes on field anymore, and the Toryx very much are still fighting. But that's hardly surprising. The Bull Centaur Toryx or the Lord, for the love of stop jumping around, or the Bull Centaur Lord's hat is so big, he could probably take the hat off and just like slam the hat down on one of the enemy dwarfs and trap them within it. That'll be hilarious. Yeah, looks like the Berserkers are obliterating a unit of Longbeards here, who have 1 kill to their name so far, and we got 115 to the name of the Zealot Berserkers. The balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and though the units of Grudge Settler Slayers are still in the fight, I guess they will be in the fight until they're gone for good, as in they're unbreakable, and the rest of the enemy army is not. In fact, a sliver of balance of power means that the rest of the enemy army has shattered, and only Slayer versus Slayer remains. And as appropriate, we did give Kurf Domitosh the item that gives that Slayer for Chaos ability. I like it. That he's leading this particular army. And let's see, we got 42 of these guys left. I wonder if they can, if one Slayer can kill another Slayer with a death blow. That might be interesting to see. Alright, but man, they have cut through absolutely massive numbers of those Hobgoblin laborers. Anyway, looks like our Bull Centaur, Toryx, and Lord want a bit of a piece of this, and will actually charge in to kill off the rest of the enemy Slayers. And with those swings of their great axes, each time a Slayer gets torn to shreds, and by the looks of it, isn't able to deliver a death blow, interestingly. Yeah, they just get hacked apart. Beautiful. And yeah, not so much a great last stand for these guys anymore, especially since they wasted so much time on those goblin laborers. Oh, I love seeing those Toryx work with those great axes. And just a couple left if one... Oh, wow. That's gotta be a scary sight, and I don't think you're bringing any of these guys down, or even really inconveniencing them all that much. And I believe that was the last Slayer, and even a couple of blows to the back from those twin axes, and with that, the last Slayer falls, and the battle is ours. The enemy units of Hammers achieved nothing except killing some laborers, and will now get torn apart by the Zealot Berserkers as they chase them down. I do a little bit regret not sending the Zealot Berserkers directly at them, but we needed to take care of the Thunderers and the Quarrelers first, otherwise they would have been firing into the back of the Zealot Berserkers, and then they would have just killed them, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Damn, the heavy armor of the Grudge Settler Hammer still means it takes a lot of effort to chase them down. And just seeing how many blows it takes for these guys to actually kill one off. I'm almost surprised that these guys aren't unbreakable, but at the end of the day, I suppose they'd be a little bit too overpowered if they were. Some of the Grudge Settler units are already pretty darn insane. But anyway, great fight. All right, there we go. A very nice battle for the Slayers of Hashut army. Looks like one of these units managed to get 210 kills and 35,000 damage. And, well, while they didn't quite kill nearly as many, they did out-damage fairly significantly. And the Galarudge Settlers Slayers, we sent 3 of our units of Goblin Laborers at this one unit, and they hacked through 300 of them, but all they did was tire themselves out. And then the same thing kind of went for the Hammerers with Grudge Settlers. We sent 2 units of Goblin Laborers at them, and while they obliterated a bunch of them, the rest of their army got obliterated in turn, and so it didn't work out so well for them. Great job to the 3 units of Bull Centaur Renders, of course, but considering we have them buffed up with the manufactory now, they're pretty obscenely strong, and it's another reason why we don't have too many of them in this particular army. And otherwise, yeah, very nice fight, just generally speaking. I imagine we don't need to heal up, but frankly, I'll take the labor, I guess. Alright, convoy encounter, convoy completed at a unit of Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits. Wait, do we even have room for Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits? That's 5 and 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning we only have room for 2, meaning we can't add the Sneaky Gits unless we want to delete something, and I don't think we'd want to delete anything out of here. It's a decently balanced army, and when they actually complete the convoy, they will... they'll gain other ones. Oh, not that it really matters at this point in the game. Just the blessing is fine. I'll get Confederation of between some orcs, whatever. Enemy killed in battle. Constructor, Master Mason, Creator ready for duty. Technology researched. Convoy completed. I think that was a different one though. And Infernal Engineer, and that's it. All right, let's do convoys first. We got 1 completed. The other one's still on the way, and I assume one of the ones that got completed was one of the ones at Grundrakor, or. Yeah, it has to be. Alright, so we will add, I don't know, you, doesn't really matter. You, add master, and go to Grundrakor. Don't waste armaments for money anymore. We used to need that, we no longer need that. Dispatch. Alright, easy enough. And we can ignore that. Next up, where are potential battles? Draj. If you go to Skull Chasm, that isn't quite the edge of your range. What about, this guy can't reach it though. We just ignore it, or we could sack it and keep moving, I guess. The other option would be to go into tunneling stance and then jump down here. Might save us a little bit of time. What do we have here, incidentally? Skull Chasm doesn't look like it's well defended, but I'm willing to bet that this army won't be able to auto-resolve it, and I'd like Draj to... Well, I mean, I suppose if we are able to do this fight with the other army, and I don't know that we will... What level is Oh, he's only level 37. Let me just see here. Yeah, but this army's so much closer. Anyway, this army will still have to move over there. I think that hasn't changed at all. So, you're gonna go down here, and you're going to, I don't know, follow... You know what? Don't do that. I just realized you might get intercepted. So, go here together to Drippin' Fang's camp, and then like 2 turns away from the Major Ancestor Relic. And if these guys should die attempting to get the relic, well, then they'll die. And Drazhoath can be on the way to over there. What is this? Is this a plague engine? No, it's a Doom Engineer. Okay, good. If it had been a plague one, I would have just ignored it. Let's just go this way. As in, I would have jumped away from him, because we really don't want Draj to be picking up a plague right now. Auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. A little bit of damage. We will sack the place rather than occupy it. Just so we can move further a little bit. If I can stop you from moving, okay, good. And then... Well, actually, that's... I shouldn't have even bothered. That did nothing. Establish his factory. It doesn't really matter. Most likely we'll just abandon it anyway. We don't really need the extra territory here. And then you can follow along, I guess. Like so. Alright. I suppose one... We're surrounded by Skaven here. I wonder if this is Clan Rictus Skaven. Can we get any heroes up and running here just to act as a scout? Does it really matter? You guys can steal tech, but that doesn't really help us. Is it Tauruks that do the assassinate thing? I mean, we could... Impatient? Anybody have, like, a killy capability? Callous, resentful... it doesn't really matter. Which one's the cheapest? Let's do you. Callous, whatever. Alright, and then we'll use you to scout, and then we'll probably delete you after. It's not like we're hurting for cash. Anyway, let's continue. Kuntaj. You were going to go all the way down here. Aha! An army. Alright, maybe you'll intercept that first and then head down here. If only the convoy could take it for us, wouldn't that be swell? Nabua. You were gonna head to Uzii camp because, well, it's the only way you go, and if we ignore Graz Drung, which we probably will. Alright, grab this, and it doesn't really matter, take it as a factory, whatever. Oh no, don't tell me that's a Plague Engineer. No, it's another Doom Engineer. Like, was this a different faction's Doom Engineer? No, it's also Clan Rictus. Like, it makes me nervous that they're running around like this because, you know, obviously they could just destroy a tier 5 tower. This is a lot of Pyrrhic victory. You know what, I might just fight this manually between the episodes just so that this army isn't too badly damaged in case it needs to fight. Or I might forget about it, who knows, it's a distinct possibility as well, I will readily admit. Anyway, you, sir, are going to the Trails of Hashut, whatever, and it is besieged by and Gragamagar clan rebels. Then what are you? You're with or die. Okay, well, not that that really matters. Who's this? Somebody who really likes us. 311 rulers tolerance. This is a... oh, it's a Slaneshi faction. At rank 5 as well. How do they feel about... oh, they're at war with these ogres. I was going to ally with these ogres, but maybe that's not possible. I mean, not like... we wouldn't be able to acquire their stuff at this point in the game anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Not a big deal. We got the big major fights still upcoming. You want to move in the march stance? No, it doesn't speed us up in any way. You're trying to head towards the Silver Pinnacle, which is here, right? Yeah, so try to go as close to it as possible. There you go. Alright, a couple of turns from that. Lukta Sindrazan, you, I guess, can go towards this ogre faction. Frankly, it wasn't really too much need to bother with fighting them. We might just sort of stay raiding or just stick around here. It's not like they stand any kind of chance. You will, however, take Cursed Mount, as this will destroy this dwarfen faction, unless I'm mistaken, and occupy it as... I don't know, factory? Outpost? Whatever. And Obsidian has here, which means... yes, Outpost was the right move. Good job, Ruinous. Alright, and faction destroyed Karakazorn. Sadly, we don't seem to get any kind of special location at Karakazorn itself. I'm pretty sure that there's a landmark for the Karakazorn dwarfs in the regular Immortal Empires map, which makes it feel like it's a little bit weird that there isn't one here, but anyway. You two just take Tomb of the Skull Crusher real quick. Alright, you're gonna besiege, you're going to reinforce. And just so that this faction can't do anything else. And I'll resolve it. Oh, wait. Nope, nobody will die. I mean, 1,000 will die, but you know what I mean. And occupy it as outpost as well. Alright, I believe this territory is complete as well. Beautiful. And whether I build stuff or not will be decided between the episodes. Alright, who is up next? Who still needs to move? I'd like to end another turn and head towards those relics. Libetash, Blackbeard. You are going to go into, I don't know, march stance, into sneaky get hold. You... seems everybody's moving more or less the same rate in march and in underway, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever. And then you join Libetash like so, completing the army for good. Gorthy, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, just go, just go. Hello? Thank you. Alright. Who's next? Who still needs to move? Is this another quick end turn? Libetash the Grey. Ah! You two. You know what? You're just going to stay here. I was about to say channel, maybe raid right here. If these orcs declare war on us, you'll kill them all. But there isn't a crazy need to do so either. And especially while Zatan is ignoring them. If they had a full stack running around, I'd do it, but it's just garrisons. And they're not worth our time. At this point in time, at any rate. Gorzin Skullsons. Alright, you were chasing around Dimrick. That is no longer necessary. I guess you could go up here to Spite Peak in theory. See if you can't find a Bloody Hands army worth fighting. Middle Manager Stormbreaker is fine where he is. Cinderbeard is beside the other guy. Stromney the Bullbreaker, yes. Ooh, ooh. Bretonnians, you decided to move close to him. Why? Why would you do this? Maybe they're probably going after this little ogre stag. Alright, well, I wasn't gonna. Well, actually, what I was gonna do was I was gonna declare war on these guys and see if they all decided to attack Stromney, but since they obligingly moved here, They'll get crushed, obviously, but I want to see this army in action at least once. So we'll charge them. You've got Hobgob tribes. Let's get you fervent fodder to buff those melee cav troops up even further. You guys... Looks like they have most of the important stuff, if not all the important stuff. We can... let's go through Gutter Fighter, try to get them slippery as well. And I guess you're all kind of in the same position, because you're all at level 29, so let's do that. Alright. Works for me, and then, just because we can, we'll declare war on these guys. Do we need to... It sounds like we need help with them. Declare war. Fire allies to help, don't bother. They'll be dead in a turn or so. Pyrrhic victory, casualties medium. They've got Knights of the Realm. I'm interested to see how they fare, or how our Hobhound Ravagers fare against them. The big issue is this, well, there are actually several. The Knights of the Realm have 14,100 HP with 60 units. We have 8,800 HP with 80 units. Almost like Fellbats, these guys have tiny, tiny amounts of HP for their numbers of units, meaning each individual model will probably die rather quick. In fact, the Hobhound Ravagers have less HP than the Hobgob Wolf Raiders do. And then, of course, there's the armor-piercing issue against the enemy Knights. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue, though. We'll find out. Yeah, not like we care about the Hobgob armies, I just want to see them play. Alrighty, no speech from the modded lords, but that's alright. We'll let our actions do the talking. Knights of the Lady versus Knights of the Khan. Here we go. The Spear Riders will be sent directly to charge the enemy Knights because they're anti-large, and the Hobhound Ravagers will move towards flanking them, but also directly towards the main enemy stack. Excited to see how well these guys do in big numbers. Of course, we have seen them fight in our other armies, but only in a couple of units. I do like those Chaos Warhounds being used as mounts. They're actually pretty neat, and I'm almost surprised that the devs didn't incorporate them in some unit as a mount for some units. And they work quite nicely. Anyway, looks like the Knights are trapped, and those that attempt to back off, we will simply turn and hit them with the Spear Riders. I was actually hoping to have these guys charge and flank them, but that's alright. And there we go, the anti-large is certainly working for us. At the same time, the Hobhound Ravagers have crashed into the enemy melee line, plus the Vanguard deployed elements of same set Hobhound Ravagers coming in from the corner will hit the enemy in the back line, obliterating their artillery and peasant bow crews. Artillery crews and peasant bow, yeah, I know what I mean. Anyway, over on the right flank, same thing is repeating itself with the spear-riding Hobgob Wolf Raiders who came up this ramp and are now obliterating enemy units of mounted yeomen and whatever knights that they can find. And absolutely overrunning the yeomen, but that's hardly surprising. Alrighty, those guys don't have the armor to stand up to this sort of thing, and frankly, neither do the peasants. To see those units fly around. Alright, and the Hobhound Ravagers have pretty much destroyed most of the enemy melee units. So the Hobgob Khan is going after the enemy Lord, and I believe, or the Great Khan is going after the Lord, and I believe the regular Khans are trying to kill off a Paladin somewhere. Oh, wait. This is the Great Khan going after the Lord. I guess another... a regular Khan was going after a damsel, and then there is a paladin here who the other Khans will be going after shortly. It looks like over on the left flank, the enemy Knights of the Realm and such have completely collapsed, though they have done some damage to the Hobgob Wolf Raiders. The enemy Knights are unfortunately also way too slow to escape, so I'm sure that they will be run down by the spears. Not that that matters, because this army will be destroyed regardless, though the reinforcing army will not, and we'll have to try to kill those to a single man and or knight and or peasant. Alright, and here's the paladin. The regular Khans, of course, are not inclined to fight fair and will face off 3 against 1, and that's probably a lot of damage coming into the paladin, who quickly loses about half of his HP. Well, these guys' melee attack and stuff isn't all that high as yet, so it does make sense to apply 3 of them here. And of course the Great Khan, I believe, has killed off or is about to kill off the enemy lord, who's down to about 20% of her HP. The paladin is down to 10%, and a couple more hits will bring him down at last. And down he goes. Alright, I do believe there is another paladin who's arrived from the reinforcing army, flying around on that Pegasus. And we'll land in the midst of our formation, probably to try to help the enemy profit us out, but I don't think that's going to work any more or any better than the regular paladin, and the Great Khans and the regular Khan will hunt him down instead. Over in the center, the reinforcing army has arrived with Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant together, and once again we will charge them. A little bit of Hob Knight versus Human Knight action. And our units are looking tiny compared to theirs, but we have so many more of them. It's 2 on 2 until it isn't, as 2 more units arrive to hit the enemy in the flanks, and it's 4 on 2, and the enemy is surrounded. Plus, with the higher unit numbers, multiple units of ours are able to hit individual knights, as the smaller models do work in our favor here. There we go. Knights of the Realm overrun and pretty much obliterated. And I believe this unit has shattered or broken as well. There is a few other units over on the field, a field treb, which will launch at least a few rocks into our Hobhound Ravagers and knock a good dozen of them out, because of the extremely fragile nature of the Hobhound Ravagers with their low HP, but that's alright. We're willing to lose a few to run down the artillery crew, and then the same thing goes for the Peasant Bows and the Spearmen at Arms that remain. Alright, there we go. Wolf Riders with spears have destroyed the unit, and the Spearmen at Arms will fall in a similar fashion, and with that, the last of the Bretonnians will shatter, and the battle will be ours. Just a matter of running down whatever enemy units we can, but we can do so off-screen. Alright, and there we are. So the Knights of the Khan defeat the Knights of the Lady, and pretty well at that, at least in this particular matchup. Both of the enemy armies are pretty much destroyed, and 255 kills on one of the Hobhound Ravagers, very solid, with 24k damage, although I'm willing to bet there's a few high damage dealing out. These guys, for example, got 20k damage. High damage dealing Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with spears, as their anti-large meant that they were facing off more against the Knights than the anti-infantry Ravagers were. Do we need to heal up here? Yeah, I guess why not? It's not like we're hurting for labor or money or anything else. This army will escape, but their settlements will fall. You're gonna grab... I think you can... I wonder if you can reach this and this.
What do you want?
This is almost all of our movement range. Will I regret it? I believe it doesn't really matter. It's one. Yeah, you know what? Just ignore it. Let's go to Slave Taker's Camp instead. And to resolve it, this will probably hurt us a lot more than... Actually, it barely did. Well, isn't that lovely? And take it as an outpost so that you can heal up here. Or we could have raised it, but once again, it doesn't really matter over much. Alright, good for you. Crown of Command, Tormentor Sword, and... Oh, I forgot to pick a new tech, which we should definitely do. We have just imperishability rituals here, which is useless to us at this point in the campaign. We have all of these, and we have to pick one each turn. Let's go Ward Save for all characters faction-wide. Why not? Helps Drazh and helps all of the fighty lords. Anyway, anybody else need to move this particular turn, or are we good? I'm willing to bet... Let's see... I think I already checked these guys. Who are you again? Alright, you're the Laborer Swarm, and no, that is it, other than you, Vrogny Skarugs. Wait, what was the name of the Vrogny that got the, wait. Yeah, it's also Vrogny Skarugs, the one that he's been resurrected as a Hobgoblin Khan for some reason. Alright, go figure. That's probably not something that a Chaos Dwarf would want. That's probably more horrifying than dying in battle or being horribly mutilated or something. Anyway, looks like we're good to end the turn. We are more or less out of time, so I think rather than end the turn now, I'll call it here and end it between the episodes so that I can take care of whatever admin. And if there's only moves and not fights to be made... Oh, right, I have to fight this between the episodes. If there's only moves and not fights to be made, I might skip a few turns as we try to get into position for the next battles, as we are trying to reach very specific points and some specific fights. So hopefully we come back to more good fights, although these two were pretty darn solid as well. Stay tuned for just a little bit more Drazhoath. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.